Trauma is the #1 cause of death for young people in today's society. Many areas of the United States, such as Houston, are in a trauma care crisis. I'm Leslie Hernandez with the story. New Caney High School broadcast journalism students traveled to the Woodlands Waterway Marriott Hotel and Convention Center on January 19th for a luncheon sponsored by Hardin Montgomery County, a healthcare foundation. Speakers discussed the problems faced by Houston's trauma centers, such as the difficulty of handling the large number of emergency patients seen daily. Trauma is any injury to the body resulting from a shooting, stabbing, or a motor vehicle accident. Treatment for trauma is surgery, and many teenagers will not receive it in time to save their lives. According to Dr. Guy L. Clifton, keynote speaker for the Heart Luncheon, people living in the outlying communities surrounding Harris County are at the greatest risk because patients with serious injuries and illnesses are more likely to face delayed treatment. They have to go a long way to get to a trauma center. I'm here with Dr. Guy Clifton, head of neurosurgery at the University of Texas Medical School in Houston. He's the founder and chairman of Save Our ERs. Dr. Clifton, what would the problems be that a teen would face involved in a motor vehicle accident?
The most important thing you can do after a severe injury, if a person were injured, is to get to a trauma center quickly. We know that if patients with injuries get immediate attention in specialized facilities, that the rate of their dying is cut in about half. Now, some things can be done by the emergency medical services personnel at the scene, which are very important, such as making sure the spine doesn't move, making sure breathing is okay. But the key seems to be getting to the right place very quickly.
What would you propose as a solution to improve the trauma units?
Well, we don't have enough of them. We need more major trauma centers. We need more beds in the trauma centers. And we need a lot more coordination of how patients get from the place of injury into the right hospital. At the moment, it's really a patchwork of uncoordinated activities. Everybody's doing their job and they're doing it well, but nobody's talking.
What do we do about this?
Well, the part of getting the ambulances talking to the hospitals, I think, is pretty straightforward. It's not a very expensive thing to do, and it mainly involves setting up an air traffic control system.
An additional problem faced by EMS providers is overcrowded Level 1 hospitals being too full to accept more patients. Level 1 trauma centers are designed and staffed to handle any traumatic injury, day or night. While San Antonio and Dallas each have 3 trauma centers, Houston, with a much larger population, only has 2. One study recently found that the death rate jumps by 50% when both of Houston's trauma centers are filled to capacity and must turn away trauma patients, such as a 21-year-old Katy, Texas man struck by a car on Halloween night 2001. He was immediately unconscious and was taken to a small Katy hospital where he was found to have severe brain and chest injuries and broken legs. Normally, someone with such a severe injury is admitted to a local trauma center within 1 hour of injury. However, when Katy Hospital personnel called both trauma centers, all intensive care beds were full. The young man was flown to the trauma center at Brackenridge Hospital in Austin, arriving more than 3 hours after injury, where he subsequently died. Contributing to the problem is that 1 in 3 trauma patients in the Houston area does not have insurance. The 2003 Texas legislature addressed the problem by passing laws for funding of new trauma centers, but the 2005 Texas legislature took back most of the funds. Dr. Clifton is working to have the 2007 legislature restore funding.
So the short answer to what can we do, I think that we've got the best piece of legislation at the state level to fund uninsured trauma care in the country, we've got to get the legislature in the 2007 session to release the funds.
According to Dr. Clifton, suburban hospitals try and stabilize patients before sending them to a Level 1 trauma center. For many, this is too late. Chaz Plant will now take a look at how budget cuts have affected health care.
This is Chaz Plant here at the New Caney High School Clinic, which is usually a pretty busy place. While trauma care in Houston lags behind other metropolitan areas, another area of concern involves the recent cutbacks in children's health care. Texas is one of the national leaders in lost medical revenues for young people. The funds dried up when Texas stopped funding for their CHIPS program. Following Dr. Clifton's address, I spoke with Dr. Stephen Farber, one of the luncheon organizers, about these cuts. One of the main things that was related to teenagers tonight was the CHIP program. Can you tell us about that? What it stands for and what's going on with it? What's the problem we're facing?
Well, the CHIPS program is a program that's a state program to provide funding for children at low income and who need medical care. And the problems that he mentioned were essentially related to the fact that these cuts in CHIPS dramatically hurt our children. We accounted for half of the national reduction in CHIPS coverage, just Texas alone did. And to me, that's a terrible tragedy. Children are our future. We need to maintain insurance for them. We need to get them help. And we can't lose out on the funding that we're losing from the federal government.
Right, and one thing I also heard tonight was this is not only reaching just Texas and Montgomery County, also all the way to Los Angeles. So is this also a national crisis too?
No, healthcare is a national crisis. There's no doubt about that.
The Texas lawmakers will meet in 2007. Restoring lost medical care funds for children could be one of the issues voted on.
Most people don't think about EMS until they face a medical emergency.
Well, when I was 7, I was hit by a drunk driver. My heart stopped when he hit me, and I was life-flighted to Herman Hospital.
Don't wait to get involved in supporting your community EMS.
Well, like I said, I was only 7, and I was like, hope I don't die. I'm too young. Got a whole life to live ahead.
In an emergency, why shouldn't you take the victim to the close hospital? There's a lot of good reasons, but the main one is that not all hospitals are set up for trauma treatment or other particular emergencies. I'm Elizabeth Maxwell, and I'm here with Montgomery County EMS Director Alan Johnson. If a young person was involved in a traumatic accident, why would you recommend they call 911 instead of driving the person to the nearest hospital?
Calling 911 is the fastest way to get emergency help to a person who's involved in an emergency medical incident. And we would hope that anyone who witnesses such an incident would call 911 as opposed to driving. The help can start right away. As soon as 911 is contacted, our dispatchers can start asking questions and then provide pre-arrival instructions to the person who called. On top of that, when the ambulance arrives, the paramedics can start life-saving care, continue that life-saving care, and determine what is the best hospital for a person to go to.
Okay, thank you.
Houston and other major cities are in a trauma care crisis that most citizens are not aware of. Because of a lack of communication between EMS providers, a shortage of Level 1 trauma care centers, and in an age of terrorism, with Houston's 2 trauma care centers being inside the 610 loop, let's say that downtown Houston was struck by a terrorist or a major hurricane, there would be no trauma care in a time that it was desperately needed. I'm Chaz Plant.